They're not picking their nose and wiping it on your wall.
Hopefully.
And you're like, have to have a full conversation about why that's probably not a good idea. You know, but I'm still there.
They've scrubbed many of boogers off the wall by now.
It's good. It's solid. That's, you know, good quality life lessons.
The house is full of groceries. There's no errands to be run. We're in a great mindset.
All the laundry's put away.
The laundry's put away. Yeah. The toilets are clean.
You'd never get school.
You'd literally never do school. This is your honorary anointing of childhood trauma. Doesn't that sound nice? Let's wrap it up pretty.
Some may call it a generational curse. I'm gonna call it a tradition.
That is so good. Oh my gosh.
Hey guys, welcome back. I am lucky today because it's not just me that you guys get to see, it's Ashlee. For those of you guys, I'm sure that you do know Ash from Graceandgrit over here on YouTube. We are getting to hang out with each other, which doesn't ever happen. I was gonna say which never happens, but it really never happens.
Really never. I live on the West Coast and she lives in the Midwest.
So we're getting to get together today, and we did a Q&A over on my Instagram. She asked for questions over on hers, I asked for questions on mine. So we did the first portion over on Ashlee's channel, so we will have a link to that down below in the description box. You guys can go watch that. Super long-winded.
It was long. Wrap presents while you listen.
Yeah, that'd be a really good thing to do. Yeah, wrap presents.
Because they don't need to watch us. We didn't do anything except sit here.
No, yeah, you really, yeah, we just chatted. We just were long-winded and
very
talked.
long-winded.
But it was fun though, so thanks for just entertaining us by watching it. All right, so I'm gonna go through my questions. Some of you guys asked questions that we did answer over in Ashlee's video, so if you don't have your question answered in here, it's probably in Ashlee's. If it's not, then I might have just messaged you separately because you were asking like my zip code or something, and I'm not gonna share that in a Q&A. All right, so the first question that I'm seeing is, what are the age gaps you have between your own kids? So Ash, you wanna talk about yours?
Sure. So my kids are, at one point, we're all 4 and under. So I had 4 kids in 4 years, which now, you know, when you have children 15 months apart, it sounds like there's some 2-year gaps in between them, but you know,
it's like a year and a half.
Yeah, it's a year and a half, if that. So my oldest is 15. The next one in line, so that's my oldest daughter. Then I have a son who is 14. Then I have another son who is 12, but he'll be turning 13. So he's 12 right now. And then my youngest is still 10 today, but turns 11 by the time you guys see this. So I have 11, 12.
Seriously? Oh yeah, her birthday is right by Christmas. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I'll have 11, 12, 14, and 15.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and so you have girl, boy, boy, girl.
Correct.
Yeah, which is the same as me. So before, so my oldest 4, it's the same situation as Ashlee's. I've got Fiona is 10, and then Ezra is 9, Jude is 7, and Ingrid is 5, and then Abe is 2. And so they're right about the same. It's like 15 months, 18 months, 2 years, and then what, 2.5 to 3 year difference, I think, with Gigi and Abe.
So my pregnancy gaps were 15 months, then 2 years, but I did have pregnancies in between, but had miscarriages. So 15 months, exactly 2 years, and then 17 months.
Yeah.
And I was terrified.
Yeah. And does it feel like a blur looking back at it?
Honestly, like looking back at those years, one of the things that I really struggle with is remembering individual like baby memories.
Yeah.
Because they were just all babies so close to each other, and I carried a lot of mom guilt. I'm being honest, because I felt like I didn't get to enjoy the fullness of that season so much because there was so much survival necessary. But also, like, they got their sibling and you can't ever replace that. So that's how I mentally justify that in my head. But yeah, it's a blur. I will remember certain things, but sometimes I feel like that old mom that's like, now which one of you was it? I can't remember.
I know, and it's like it wasn't that long ago,
no,
but it feels like a whole lifetime ago.
Honestly, it does.
I know. I can't even Geez, I was trying to think of someone's weight when they were born the other day. I can't remember what it was, and I was like, oh gosh. I remember Fiona's, because I feel like you remember your firstborn, because it's just, it sticks out, because you're very, but I'm like, wait a minute, what time were you born? Wait, what? I don't know. I have it written down, I swear. I probably shared it in like a birth video, like talking about their birth, but
I know.
I don't know. I love you.
I know.
I just don't know.
And
I can't remember.
And then it's like, then if your middle kids hear you saying that, because you usually remember your oldest because they were your first, and then you remember your youngest because they were your most recent.
Right.
But it's those middle ones, and then if they hear you saying that, then it's like, well, how come you remember hers but you don't remember me?
Because I was just so full of love.
I know.
And sleepless nights.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
survival mode.
Survival.
I mean, it was just blurry. Yeah, anytime I see a mom that has 3 under 3 or like has a lot of little ones.
Do you tell her she has her hands full?
No, I don't. Because I would just pause and wait for the smack.
I know.
Like, right?
Which cheek first?
Right? No, actually there was a mom at Target one time that was in line, and I don't know why she was in Target with all 3 of her kids, but she had all 3 of them and they were all little, and I was like, Drive Up. You know they offer something called Drive Up?
So back when I had kids, we didn't have Drive Up.
You were an OG.
I am an OG.
Survived through taking them to the actual store.
Literally. There was no grocery pickup. And I'm dating myself here. I'm dating myself. But I tell my sister-in-law that.
Well, it only really started during 2020, I feel like. That was when it really picked up, right? It's only a couple years. Okay, one thing that you've learned from the other person.
I'll go first. I have learned from you a lot about recognizing like trauma in myself. And we were just talking about that. That's why she started laughing. But you know, you're like, just certain things that you've shared, it's been very helpful for me. I feel like in my early parenting journey, I didn't really even know or acknowledge the fact that my experiences as a child were going to affect me in my mothering. I believed, and I still believe and proclaim, that God has done a new thing in me, but that doesn't negate the fact that some of my responses and some of my weaknesses can be exemplified by situations because of things that I've worked or not really worked through. And so
knock knock knock, hey.
Yeah. And so you've taught me a lot about like boundaries and acknowledging them, and recognizing things within myself. And also I've learned a lot from you just by watching the way that you navigate life and motherhood, is like being more gracious to myself. I am very, I don't know what the word is. It's probably high achieving anxiety. Like there's probably some weird label. What is that called when it's anxiety that is driving your production?
You can be
there's a name for it.
I know.
There's a name for
because
everything.
You said that, I can't think of what it is now.
But there's a label. There's a label for everything.
There is.
And so anyway, I've just learned a lot about being gracious towards myself through the wisdom that Jaimie has shared with me, through things she's walked through in her own health journey, and just acknowledging like your body and how you feel and hormones, and just like resting more. I learn a lot like by watching you.
I'm great at resting.
No, and not resting in a lazy way at all, but just truly like resting as a human being.
Yeah.
I really struggle with that, and I don't know why.
I think a lot of us do.
Yeah, and so those are some of the things that come to my mind first.
Thank you. I feel like a lot of that is like me learning it and sharing it with you, you know?
Yeah, which
I think it's a gift. It's kind of a double-edged sword, because there are some times where John has had to tell me like, stop worrying, because I'll do something and go, oh my gosh, my daughter's gonna like hate me forever because of that. Like I'm gonna be the topic of a counseling session, you know? And some of that is just life. It's just in our humanness.
no one experienced perfection here.
Right? Absolutely. I have learned from you self-discipline, like the importance of consistency, the importance of following through even if you don't feel like it, the importance of it, because it really is, our world and our lives are not built off of our feelings.
Thank God they're not.
Right?
Yeah.
They're built off of our choices and our daily choices to continue and persevere. And so Ashlee, I think, has definitely taught that, and not even in your words, but just in your lifestyle, in who you are as a person, continuing, because I know your childhood, I know what you've shared with me, and you know mine, and seeing, it'd be really easy for someone to see you and go like, oh, I'm sure that this is how she was brought up and all of that, you know, and it's not. It's not. It's literally been a life-based, built off of daily choices that you have made as a person that no one else gets credit for. That, you know, you own that for sure. And that's something that I've taken from you, definitely, as a friend and as a person, that I've learned is just the importance of consistency and doing what you know is right. What is that Charlotte Mason quote? I ought to, like, doing what is right. What is that?
I know what you're talking about, and now I won't be able to finish it either.
Doing what you ought to do, like I'm
not what you want or something.
Yeah. All of you Charlotte Mason moms.
Yeah, correct us.
They've got us.
We're wrong.
They're gonna put it down. I used to have it in a printout.
This is gonna get demonetized. We misquoted
right?
Charlotte Mason.
It's a good quote though. It really is.
It is.
But and I used to have it printed, I think, hung up somewhere in my homeschool room when
Some planner.
Yes, it was in a planner. It was in a planner. But that's something that I definitely take from you. All right, your favorite thing about each other?
Well, we did. I'm gonna give a different answer now.
Okay.
Because I don't want to say the same thing. One of my favorite things.
We did kind of.
But I'm gonna go a totally different angle, because in the other one it was very like sentimental. And so I'm gonna go lighthearted here. Jaimie's sense of humor. We have the same sense of humor, our same like facial expressions when describing stories and scenarios. They just add a lot to the conversation. It'll be a quick, like, we're talking and then it's a quick glance to the back seat, and like, it's not, I mean, it is funny, but like, you know, it just makes me laugh because I'm like, yes. We just have very similar I don't know, senses of humor.
Yeah, we do.
I would say.
I could see us if we were in a room with a bunch of people and someone did something and I thought something about it, I would probably look at Ashlee and I would be like, able to know that she's thinking the exact same thing I'm thinking. Like, we would, that for sure. It would go unspoken. We'd be like, okay, I'll mark you later about that. Like, yeah, absolutely. Oh gosh, yeah, what did I say? Oh, the thing I learned about you. I was trying to think of, I just said,
tell me all about me.
Well,
how do you feel?
Favorite thing? Oh my gosh.
What do you love about me?
What do I love about you? It's so, I mean, like, your sense of style. I love your sense of style.
Thank you. Yeah, that also too.
Oh gosh, I feel like I don't have a very good sense of style.
Yes, you do.
But we pick up on, like, there's always products. I feel like some of my favorite products
and
that I have.
Any cute shirt that Target comes out with, we will have purchased.
Yeah.
That quarter zip up that I had to get because you showed it, and then one time when we both got, like, I think we both had recently gone to Target and you're like, oh, I got this, and I'm like, yeah, I already got that.
I already have that. Yeah. Week. Absolutely. Good thing we don't live right. We would probably bump into each other wearing the same outfit. For sure.
Yes.
For sure. Well, I'm gonna say that's probably one of my favorite things about you too, is your sense of humor. I feel like, but we're really like the same person. So is that a compliment for ourselves?
Yeah, we're funny.
I like you because you like the same things I like.
I like you because you're like me, and you have to like me.
So this is gonna be like super totally different direction.
Okay.
We laughed when we read through these beforehand because the questions on my Instagram versus the questions on hers, you can definitely tell the different stuff that we share.
Right.
In our audience. You guys come to us for different reasons.
And that is really cool.
It is.
But it's kind of funny in this setting.
Best advice for parenting while healing from your own childhood trauma or own trauma. So not just childhood trauma. What's your best advice?
Okay. My best advice is to acknowledge your experience without taking it on as your identity, because yes, you experience those things, but that is not who you are. It's what you went through, and so you do acknowledge that, but you can never move forward while currently claiming something to be who you are. Like, I am not what I went through.
Yeah.
I am a new creation in Christ. I am a daughter of the Father. I am a mom. I am a wife. These are things that I, you know, even when you take it farther than your identity in Christ, but like current things, like this is who I am. I'm a friend. I'm a sister. I'm an aunt. Like, you know, all these things. I am not what I experienced. And so I think a lot of times we can take our experiences and live in that victimized mindset.
Absolutely.
And that is totally preventing you from breaking free of those chains. So if you experienced, you know, horrific things as a child, like they'll call you a victim of X, Y, or Z. But I rebuke that. No, that is not
who
me.
You are.
That's not who I am. Like, you know, I'm a daughter of a addict. No, I rebuke that. You know, I am a daughter of the king, of the Most High King. Like, that is not me. So I think that there's a healthy place to land there. And I think when you are too focused on what you endured, you never are able to pivot away from moving beyond it. So it's not living in denial and stuffing it way down deep, because then it just manifests itself out, right? So you have to acknowledge, you have to process, but while also not taking it with you.
Yeah. I liked that you said that. Like, that's taking, you can have lived through something but not have it be your identity. That's huge. And a lot of us can do that even unknowingly. I know I have done that in the past. But when you are doing that, though, like you said, you are preventing yourself, because you are even unknowingly hindering yourself from living as the person that really God created you to be.
Right.
Absolutely. I think for me, the biggest thing, maybe I think mine is maybe more on like the more like daily practical side, would be to pause when it comes to, like, I'm in a season right now where something very specific triggers me when I'm doing homeschool with the kids, and I can feel anger and frustration rise up in me in situations that I'm like, why is this making me angry? Why is this making me frustrated? And so for me, I really have had to learn, or am learning, the art of just being quiet and pausing, because sometimes it's better to not say anything than to give your mouth a foothold to just spew venom that really nobody deserves, you know? It's not, there's no goodness coming from it. And a lot of the time, sometimes when we react out of our triggers, most of the time we look back and it was unwarranted.
Right.
The reaction that we gave it. So for me, being a parent and navigating through childhood trauma, in this season at least, has meant doing a lot of pausing, doing a lot of walking away, and because I don't want to put that on my kids.
That is so hard to do.
It is really hard, and I'm not perfect at it. That's why I've learned not that I need to walk away, is because there has been so many moments where I'm like, oh, okay, well we'll add that to the childhood trauma this year. You know, I get to pass it. It's a tradition. Childhood trauma is just a tradition in this family. Okay?
We're not going to call it a curse. We're going to call it a tradition. This is your honorary anointing of childhood trauma. Doesn't that sound nice? Let's wrap it up pretty.
Some may call it a generational curse. I'm going to call it a tradition.
That is so good. Oh my gosh.
But really,
I know.
You know, so it's like, you laugh about it, but it's, you know, your kids are not going to be perfect.
No.
They're going to have to parent their own children.
I would add that to this as well, because for me, I struggle with that because I'm a very much all or nothing type personality, probably related to my childhood trauma. And I sometimes will have this mindset that my children are going to walk away from my home without any like I want them to have a perfect childhood. That does not exist.
Yeah.
And so, but also like the crutch of, well, every generation wants to do better than their parents did. I think that's garbage too. So like, where do you land with that? That's still something I'm walking out, because I know that when my daughter is going to be 18 in 2 years about. So like, what kind of things is she gonna walk away with thinking, you know, that I fell short in, that maybe have affected her? I don't think anything as extreme as what I endured. I actually, let me restate that, I know nothing. But like, I'm not a touchy-feely, like cuddle on the couch type of mom. There's just something about that to me that it's like, it's hard when they're older. When they're babies, very natural, but older, like it's just difficult for me. And so I often think like, is she gonna feel like I didn't, this is me being super vulnerable, but like, is she gonna think that I didn't hug and kiss her enough? I mean, I hug and kiss my kids morning and night and throughout the day, but like some of my kids could literally still be touching me all day long.
And that might just be their like love language.
It is hers.
And it's just not yours, and that's okay.
And I'm like, oh, so hard for me, like,
But I think it goes back to the reality that we can't be all things to all people.
No.
Like, we cannot meet every single need of our children.
Right.
We just can't. Like, it's physically impossible. But that's why, I mean, we're human, we're not God.
No.
We are human.
Yes. And any falling short would just be a point for the Lord to provide for that, you know, like, that area.
In one area where you have a child that's saying like, I really wish, I think of my kids as they're older, like, you know, the TV shows where all the siblings are together and they're talking, like, this is us, right? Every one of those kids in that TV show all had a different view of their childhood, like,
and I think that's so true.
And it is, right? Like, I really wish mom would have cuddled with me more. And and then you have another kid that's like, what are you talking about? Like, mom cuddled with you all the time. She never did that, you know, like, it's just different. And I think every kid is they're all gonna take something different from it, you know? But the point, I think, is the intentionality and the humility and knowing that we're not going to do it all, and that's okay. Okay, one thing that you wish you had a talent for, but you just don't.
Do you have one right off the top of your head? Because I can think of one.
Okay, you go first.
I wish I could sing as beautifully as Jaimie does.
Have you ever heard me sing?
You sing really well. Yes, you
seriously?
sang me Moana on Marco Polo.
Oh, gosh.
And my kids were like, who was that? And I was like,
I don't even remember that. Was I just, I don't even know.
You were being funny, but like, you trying to be funny, your voice still was beautiful.
Oh, wow.
So I wish I could sing.
Gosh. Well, thanks, Ash.
Yeah, you're a good
I should
singer.
sing more Disney jingles to you. One thing I wish I had a talent for, I wish that I was really athletic. Like, I wish that I was like that person that's like playing volleyball and doing all that. I'm just not. I would much rather sit in the stands with a coffee. That's just, you know?
And then like the times you attempt to be athletic, then it's like, it's just not good.
No, like, you know, everyone's like, you know, my husband's on the sidelines going, I love you, but you don't have to, there's nothing to prove.
You don't need to try to throw that ball.
Don't be something you're not, you know? But all of you guys that are athletic and strong, like Ash, I look up to you guys. You're amazing. Oh, on that note, how to make time for fitness or working out with all the children?
Well, you ask a little fairy to magically give you more hours in a day.
You do. That's how it works.
That's the secret.
That is how it works.
No, you have to prioritize. And I know you're probably already rolling your eyes, but hear me out. You know, we accomplish what we set out to in our day. Like, if there is something you have to do, like something you have to do, or something catastrophic is going to occur, you will get it done.
You do it,
You will do it. So I think we feel often, and I've seen this from my background in the fitness world, is that fitness is like this thing that we know we should do, and it would be really cool if we could incorporate it. But yeah, it's gonna cost me something, so it's like not really working out for me. And so I think that we need to move that like way up higher, way up higher on the list of things to do. And I think the practicality comes in with doing whatever you can do in the season you're in. So if you're a mom and you've got 3 little kids under the age of 3, unless you want to join a gym membership and have somebody watch your kids, you're probably not going to be able to work out for an hour. So do you just do nothing, or do you do 20 minutes of something you can do in your living room with minimal stuff? Like, something is always better than nothing. So I say focus on what you can do, because it's not always going to be like the same that you see for everybody else. So figure out what works for you. If it's stroller walks, just focus on getting your steps up. If it's doing a 20-minute stretching routine before you go to bed at night, do that. You know, like, don't let
throw in the towel.
Don't let idealistic standards prevent you from doing anything. That's what I would say.
Like, you know that feeling that you have when, like, you have to be somewhere and you have something to cook and something to clean, you have to get laundry out of the, you know, dryer, and you know that you have to get all of this done, and you do it because you got a fire lit under your butt to get it done. That's how you really have to view it. I mean, I should really film myself trying to work out with the kids, because it's like in between doing squats, I'm answering a question, someone's screaming from the bathroom and they need their butt wiped, or, you know, and it's like, okay, just 1 second. My husband, God bless him, who like works from home in the basement, usually runs upstairs because he knows, okay, she is trying to work out, she's trying to do this. And he will come upstairs and wipe a butt or answer a question because he knows that it's an important part that I have to get done, even for my mental, you know, trying to, so it doesn't look perfect, and sometimes it's messy, and you just do it. You do it.
And understand that different stages of motherhood allow for different things. And so, but you don't want to get 10 years into motherhood and then look back and be like, well, I would be so much farther along if I would have just started walking more, or, you know,
something simple
like if you wait 10 years, maybe now you have a health condition that would have been mitigated had you you know, gotten your body moving more. So yeah, just doing what you can, I think, is huge.
What is something that you think you agree on and something you disagree on?
Oh, that's really good. Well, we agree on a lot. I would be lying if I said we didn't. So I think we agree on lots of surface level topics. I think we agree on the most important thing is that Jesus is our Lord and Savior, and I think we wouldn't be able to be friends if that wasn't the case. Or at least not a deep friendship. I mean, we could be acquaintances.
We don't disagree though on, I think as adults, you can't really have a solid friendship, especially if you're a believer. I mean, maybe that's just me, but I don't have like close friendships with people unless they agree on I mean, they're like biblically sound. Is that, I mean...
No, I would wholeheartedly agree with that. And I think that the past few years have been very revealing to people's true hearts and what they really believe and what they stand for. And so it's kind of been eye-opening at some point. So I think you have to have foundational beliefs that you agree on. And then, you know, like... her favorite food might not be mine, you know, that those kind of things. Like, you're not gonna have a friend that's a clone, but but the pillars have to be there.
I would say I don't really think there's anything, I mean, nothing juicy that we disagree on, because we both really are pretty solid in our faith. So I don't know, sorry to give you like a presidential answer, but I feel like
that's a very PC answer.
I mean, right? And we're not really PC people.
No.
So. Have you talked to your kids about Santa?
Caleb.
I think she's outside.
Can you verify?
Yeah, she's out there.
Do they ever watch your videos or mine?
No.
Her dreams have not been crushed.
Okay. Can you make sure she doesn't come in?
Not been crushed.
Okay, you can leave this in. We had to actually wait because my kids came home during that time. So we've we have done that the traditional way, I guess, the way everybody does it. In hindsight, though, I will say that, you know, I was I did things the way that I had them, you know, and I didn't really give it a lot of thought. I didn't feel biblical conviction on it at the time. But if I were to just be having kids now in this season of life that I'm in and in this spiritual maturity, I potentially may handle this differently. But I also don't think, and I almost get a little fired up about it, that any of my kids are detrimentally affected, you know. So that's where I'm at. I mean, my teenagers are literally on the other side of the wall, and I'm sure that they would chime in and tell you that they're very good at discerning truth and lies, and they just had fun.
That's not one of those like make it or break it. And I really think everybody parents out of their own, like, not even just your own convictions. Sometimes you're just parenting because you're like, okay, I think we're just gonna do this, and like, let's pray for the best. You know what I mean?
It wasn't even like a thought. It was like, you know.
Yeah.
But do you do it differently?
So we have always done like Santa is for fun. That's always, we've always just said Santa is for fun, and I feel kind of like, I don't know. I feel kind of like we never took a solid stance either way. We kind of were just like, well, Santa's for fun, and we never did like gifts under the tree that were specifically from Santa. We just had gifts under the tree. And when Fiona was little, for a while, she'd see Santa places and be like, oh, there's Santa, and she'd wave. And for Gigi, my 5-year-old, she still will wave at Santa and say hi when we go places. And like, Santa's just kind of how Mickey Mouse is.
So they just recognize that he's like
there's a recognition.
Character.
Yeah. Gigi asked me the other day, Mom, do you think that Santa is real? And I said, do you think that Mickey Mouse is real? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay.
Right.
You know,
but
and so
you also weren't like going out of your way.
No, and it was just like, he's just a part of Christmas. Like, it wasn't, I mean, but I guess I never had a kid ask me like, did Santa give me this?
But then there's also like people that take it over the top, and they'll like put footsteps, and
he's like idolized.
Yeah, and we never did that, you know. So
there's a part of me that's like, did they miss out because I didn't like make, you know? So I don't know. I don't think there's ever like a cut and dry answer or way to navigate through that, you know. All right, do you ever have days where you don't get through all your lessons?
We were laughing about this. Yes, but I will say usually it's not an after choice, it's a predetermined choice. So I don't let necessarily the emotions and events of the homeschool day dictate how much homeschooling actually happens. For me, with my kids at the ages they are, because there's like a lot of character building and lesson learning that needs to be happening in those moments. So I won't like chop our school day because one of them has a bad attitude, because I don't believe that is the correct response. But it is completely unrealistic and unattainable to do everything every single day. For me, it's just, I generally will choose, like, I'll look and I have enough of a grasp on my day-to-day to kind of know like, okay, we're gonna have to trim it down on this day. Because this is crazy. So yeah, there's definite days where we don't do everything. But it's usually kind of a chosen choice. Of course, we have unforeseen things come up, but I'm just talking about as like a general. And like she said, I think it depends on your season too, for sure. We didn't, like last week, there was a day where Gigi didn't get her preschool done. And I mean, honestly, she just turned 5. So it's kind of like, a lot of her schoolwork is because she really wants to do school. And so it was way more important for me to get through my oldest 3 because Abe was sick versus getting to her preschool that day, kind of thing, you know? So yeah, life happens. If that's the question that you're asking, life definitely happens. But prioritizing it and looking at your schedule and knowing, you know, your day not being navigated by your kids' attitudes and the climate of your home, and really you setting the standard for what your day is going to look like, and you being the captain of the ship, you know? Because I think if we all waited to only homeschool on our most perfect days where everyone's had a great night of sleep, we're happy moms, there's been no like disagreeing with the husband in the last week, the house is full of groceries, there's no errands to be run, we're in a great mindset, all the laundry's put away, the toilets are clean, you'd never get school done. Literally never do school. Ever. So, no.
And it really is. Sometimes I have to tell myself, just keep going, just keep going. And I literally will tell myself that. And if that means I send someone to their room and they have to do schoolwork later on during their free time, then that's what that looks like to us. Because I used to be that person that would just be so thrown off by a child and their behavior that everyone else's education for that day would be put on the back burner because I had to deal with that one kid. And if you were part of the school system, I hate to compare it, but it would never happen like that because those other 30 children in the classroom wouldn't have they wouldn't get an education because the teacher is upset about one child.
Yeah, quite
like what would that look like, right? Because there's always going to be something. So yeah, I definitely have seen the importance. Ashlee has helped me with that immensely, and just keep going.
But also younger kids, so a lot more variables.
Yeah, that's true. Like I was nursing a sick toddler while working on, you know, the difference between D's and B's with Jude the other day on the you know, it's a different season.
But I've just tried, and I've just tried to encourage Jaimie because I've seen the fruit of being diligent in this area in those younger, more difficult, everyone's very unpredictable years, to now where my kids are the ages they are. It's so much, it's not perfect, so don't hear that, but it's a lot less
unpredictable sometimes, right?
Yeah, it's more routine, I'd say.
Yeah, and everybody's like frontal lobe is formed a little bit more.
Yes.
You know, like it's heading towards a little bit more of completion.
Yes, we've learned a little self-control by now.
They're not picking their nose and wiping it on your wall.
Hopefully.
And you're like have to have a full conversation about why that's probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
You know, that's good. I'm still there.
They've scrubbed many of boogers off the wall by now.
It's good. It's solid. That's, you know, good quality life lessons, right? If you could both go on a girls trip, where would you go?
Well, I would go with you.
And what's on the agenda?
For the
girls trip. Yeah, where would we both go? What would sound fun?
Together?
Yeah. If you could both go on a girls trip, where would you go?
I would go somewhere you've never been.
I would go somewhere you've never been. So we would go somewhere that we've never been.
Yes, experience something new together. That would be fun.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to like Savannah, Georgia.
That would be fun.
With some historical stuff, so we could take that all in.
Homeschool moms go on girls trip.
Has to have good coffee. I also could totally go to the beach and do that whole thing with you for a few days. Honestly, you could take us anywhere together.
That would be so fun.
And we don't have anything on the agenda, but I'm hopeful that in the future, now that Abe is 2, that we might be able to do that maybe in the next year-ish time frame.
That would be super fun.
Just for
We're not going to be going to like snow though.
No.
Okay, I'm going to be leaving that. Now, Ashlee voluntarily comes to snow once a year, you know, but we'll go somewhere warm. Somewhere warm and where we don't have to have an agenda, but knowing us, we'll probably make one, so.
Correct.
Right? I think that's it.
Oh, good.
I think that's it. And the rest of the questions are over on Ashlee's channel. So thank you guys for joining us today for our Q&A. Be sure to go watch the first half over on Ashlee's channel. Thanks for coming on my channel with me.
It's an honor to be here, really.
It was so much fun. Thank you guys for joining us. Hopefully you got to like fold laundry or do dishes or something.
Wrap some presents.
Right? Wrap some presents while you were watching. And yeah, so be sure to go watch the first half and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.